Hi guys, how you all doing? First of all, I want to apologise for it being such a long time since I've sat here in front of this camera and talked to you all and updated you with how I'm getting on with my flight training, which I'm happy to say is progressing at an absolute rate of knots now. So yeah, I've chosen a PPL school and I've been flying very regularly for the last month. So yeah, the good weather has really helped with that. Sorry if you heard that noise, that is actually the other Mentour Cadets on the WhatsApp group buzzing on my phone. So yeah, that's incredibly exciting. I'm just doing a bit of flight planning for it. We would have gone last week, when was it, a week Wednesday, but the crosswind component was a little bit too strong for solo students. So we didn't do it. We went and did an hour of, we did the nav route together, and then we went and did the hour of instrument flying, which is required for the PPL license. And that was a lot of fun, yeah, really intense. Actually really enjoyed it. And we finished it with popping up to about 5,000 and just breaking through the cloud. And it wasn't a solid cloud bank, so we were kind of in and out. And then that made for some really cool cloud surfing. Which was my first time cloud surfing. Absolute dream come true. Loved it. Anyway, the other thing that I did when I was there last week was finish off my last exam, which was navigation. So I've completed all exams for the PPL, and I thought, with that in mind, it would be a good thing to talk about. So yeah, I completed mine, and I completed them over quite a fairly long period, to be honest. I'm not sure the exact date that I did mine. It would have been around June or July last year. But what with the move that we had, it would have been a lot quicker. How we used to do them at Swansea is I was doing one or two sort of every month or so, because we would do one subject and study it over a course of 4 weeks, doing 2 hours per week, just on a Tuesday evening. So that was kind of how I went through the first 6, and then I still had 3 to do, which I did over 2 sittings at Kendal. Generally, what I would say about PPL theory and the exams is it's not that bad, to be honest. It's incredibly interesting, and as you might know, it was the thing that kind of got me into flight training, because it was the first thing I could afford to do was just go to PPL theory, and I absolutely loved it. And just got inspired to take it as far as I possibly could. And yeah, I find the whole subject fascinating, so all 9 subjects. So my tactic for them was to, one, I fully recommend getting the proper Pooley's manuals. It will give you an incredibly broad understanding of the material, but it is almost a little bit too broad for what you will be quizzed on in the exams. So I actually think the most useful thing to me was to attend PPL ground school, so to attend tuition. So if your PPL school does a ground school, if they do, some of them will just do a day, it's a full day, and you'll just cover the whole subject in that day, and then you might do the exam at the end of it. Some of them might be like my old school, where we would do 1 night a week, and that would be over a sort of 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how big the subject was. I actually found that the most useful thing, because your instructor will invariably, he will teach you the things that you really need to know, but he will also relate them to real life flying examples, and you'll kind of understand why you're learning this stuff. So 1, I suggest getting the books. 2, attend ground school. And 3, the thing that I actually found really useful was this app. So if I just show you what I did, there are a couple of apps available. One of them is called PPL Exam, and that is actually made by the guy who does the PPL theory at my new flying club in Freedom. His name's Bob McPhee. So his is purely an EASA PPL exam question bank. It's called PPL Exam. It's very good. It's really a close representation of the questions you will get in your actual PPL exams. And the other one is called PPL Tutor. And if I just show you on my phone, it's the app, the blue app with the white aeroplane silhouette symbol. And I got that because it had revision material in it as well. So you can go through reading all of the relevant material for the subject, and then once you've got an understanding of it, you can start taking practice exams. So I used this whenever I got a spare moment, and that might have been walking the dog, on break from work. Basically, whenever you might imagine I had 5 minutes spare, considering I've got 2 kids, I could sit down and just do a load of practice exams. And my process was, as soon as I was scoring as soon as I was scoring 100% regularly, I knew I was ready to take the exam. And that process, it paid off. I scored pretty well. I'm not trying to brag or anything. Honestly, I would say prepare well for them, and you'll be surprised how easy you find them, especially if you find the subject material interesting. So really happy to have got them out of the way. The other thing, this is what the app looks like inside. You've got all 9 exams, and then you just click on one and choose revise, mark and go, or timed exam. So that really works. The other important thing that you need to learn about for your navigation exam is the CRP 5 if you're going commercial. You only actually need a CRP 1, I think, for the private license. The CRP 5 has a few more calculations on it in terms of density and compression, but they have the same function. Obviously, I'm going commercial, so I've got CRP 5. There is a lot to learn about the CRP 5, and the way I did that is with an online course. It's a Udemy course, so that green app in the middle there, Udemy. Bob McPhee, who I just mentioned, who created the PPL exam app, he also has a CRP 5 online course, and it takes, you can do the whole thing in an evening or 2, and it basically explains all the functions and how to do calculations for everything which is on here. It's really, really, really useful because it's quite complicated until you get your head around it. So quite useful to be able to study that away from your class. If the class is moving at a certain speed, you need to be able to go home and just work on doing sort of wind velocity calculations or whatever you fancy. So yeah, I did all 9. I got really good scores, and I'm absolutely over the moon to tick that box. I've got about 20 hours left to fly. I'm aiming to finish my PPL by middle to end of July. So that's the other thing I forgot to mention about my flying training organisation. They do have a policy of not allowing mounted cameras in the cockpit whilst under training, which is a shame. Obviously I've been promising bringing you footage from the cockpit, but I have to say that I absolutely respect and understand their opinion on it. It does make a lot of sense, and I get their point of view, and like I said, they're incredibly professional, and I'm more than happy to receive the benefits of that training. So maybe at a later date I will be able to bring you some footage from the aircraft, but not whilst I'm studying for my PPL. But like I said, I do hope to show you around there, and certainly Kemble Airfield is incredibly interesting. There's got an aircraft salvage operation going on, so it's a fantastic place to fly into. There's a couple of 747s, there's an old A330, there's an MD-11, there's a bit of a wrecking yard, but if you're into planes, it's very cool and interesting. So yeah, hopefully I'll get some footage from life up at Kemble Airfield. And yeah, also I'll let you know how I got on with my first solo nav and talk about choosing a PPL school. Okay, thanks for listening guys, see you all soon, bye bye.